Morning, everybody. I'm going to give it a few minutes, let some people log on. It's early. Getting through the GTA on my way home. Going to talk about law absolute. And tonight it was a radical display by more anti-vaxxers, more propaganda, heavy socialists. Most not even my friends, but there was some trolling in my party. I got infested too. I've been trying to clear them out. It's too bad. The party board is going to have to be rebuilt somewhat, which is somewhat of a serious deal. It does slow me down. The Christmas looks further and further away for getting registration, but you're building something perfect. You don't want to mess it up. You have to have strong foundations. I see people are starting to log on, so I'm going to get with it now. And it's law absolute. This was a world-ruled pandemic by the 5 allies of World War II who don't all get along. They all agreed this was a pandemic. They ruled it unanimously, a pandemic. If you ever look into the UNSC, who makes all binding world law, if you don't get those 5 on board, or they don't step aside to give it over to the General Assembly and they choose to veto something, it's vetoed, it's game over. Now, we're not going to get into vaccine mandates, passports, all that. We're going to target the claim made by anti-vaxxers that look, Pfizer and all these companies have immunity over the COVID vaccination. That is true. The 5 countries, the World War II allies, USA, Russia, China, UK, and France, gave these companies immunity. However, none of them give immunity for a company to fabricate data or purposely and willfully collect money knowing that they're going to cause harm, more harm, or put poisons in medications, drugs, or otherwise. There's zero immunity for that. I have been through absolutely the federal constitution, every state of the United States Constitution. Further, I chose Pfizer as my vaccine, just me personally, because of their clear track record on lawsuits and where they are with the United States of America and what comes next for that company. They would never smudge the numbers, smudge the books, or willfully hide anything and place it in a vaccine. That comes with the death penalty. That would happen from absolutely the P5. They assassinate people all over the world all the time. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to go look this up. Now, I've pushed out the ICC, which is the P5 UNSC's official court. A company like Pfizer, all their CEOs, Moderna, we can go on and on. If any of them smudge numbers or willfully destroy test data or manipulate it, there is zero immunity for that. And it comes with the death penalty. That is a fact. An absolute fact. You can look up. The USA does it all the time. Presidents do it all the time. Russia's done it. France has done it more than any other of the P5, including killing the most presidents in the entire world. Presidents of many countries. That's a fact. You can all Google search this and look it up. It's not hidden. Just like finding the truth on anything people post, it's very easy to myth bust stuff. Very easy. At least for me, I find it's very easy. Especially when people start talking about law. I find that really pathetic. When people start claiming claims and say, oh, look at this, any little thing to support their narrative, when they're absolutely 100% wrong. All those companies got immunity to press forward with their vaccines at an unprecedented rate. They didn't get any immunity for smudging numbers, faking tests, or studies, or placing anything not listed in their vaccines. Is it possible 10 years down the road there could be side effects known at a later date? Sure. But the risk is substantially small compared to letting the virus roam free. That's a fact. All the data supports that. I'm sorry. I waited for it. The data came in. And of all places, my province, Alberta, another crown colonial with zero constitutions, a rogue premier who decided to ignore all medical evidence because he wanted to appease his crowd in Calgary, Alberta, and it cost many lives, many documented lives, and likely this Christmas, when the data is released, we're going to find out exactly how many children died because they couldn't get to their local ICU. This fact will also be for Scott Moe in Saskatchewan, which is another heinous crime, the worst crime you could ever commit by any government in the world today. Laws of the absolute UNSCP 5. Children's genocide is no joke. That's reality. More to add on to the plate. This is my video. Anybody can easily search Pfizer's history of lawsuits in the United States of America. That company is on its last leg. There is no more tampering with tests, smudging numbers, bullshitting facts, or frauding people, adding things not listed into their products. There have been billion-dollar lawsuits. And in one country in all of this world, which is not Canada, the United States of America, you just don't get away with that. They will take everything you own. And for those who've never bothered to ever read the United States of America's Constitution through and through, let alone learn it in major academic institutions, or even bother to look at individual states and their institutions, nobody gets away in the United States of America. Once you become a United States citizen, you are stuck forever. There's no country in the world that can ever hide you. If you commit these crimes in the United States of America, you don't get to run away with your money to any country in the world, to offshore accounts. You go on America's Most Wanted and they will hunt you down. You can also read all the cases, which I've published many times over many months since the vaccine data came in. It's been over 2 months now. But of course, the radicals refuse to look at any real law cases, let alone the Supreme Court of the United States, let alone many of the individual state highest courts, their Supreme Courts, even in their other designations. You can look at states. Not all states are the same. I've went through it all. I even provided it many times in many links for everybody. Theirs is a reporting service. Anybody can report anything, whether it's true or not. They go through it. There is another website of the substantiated claims, which is much smaller, obviously. That's reality. I know people don't like the truth when it offends their narrative. Radical environmentalists. And when people ask me about anti-vaxxers, we're talking about those who are using it to stay home, get subsidized by government so they don't have to work. It's socialist. It's socialist. It's socialist. These people don't work. They hang out at rallies. If it wasn't COVID-19 and vaccination, it's another cockamamie scheme. A lot of them overlap environmentalism, and on and on and on. Any excuse to be on the government tit, to never produce, always having radical agendas to divide. That's reality. That's people. Canada mandated vaccines. There's nothing I can do about that. Many other countries in the world don't. There are consequences to either or. But again, at the end of the day, if you want your rights to something, that's fine. But you must be willing to pay for that. You can't expect in a socialist country like Canada to put the weight of your choices, your medical choices, to be put on the general taxpayer. Wrong, wrong, wrong. I didn't make the public health care system in Canada. Many Canadians, most, enjoy it, want it, and want to utilize it. Because of that fact, it is the working class, ultimately, that pays the whopping share of it. And even when they borrow and deficit finance, it goes to the next generation, working class, retired working Canadians who paid in to a pension plan, who will be taxed to pay it off in the end. And the reality is, the weight of ICUs, it is not unlimited. You can't build what was proposed by the radical anti-vax, build 1,000 ICUs in Alberta, when on average they use 160. You want to finance 1,000 every month, month after month, at a whopping cost of $51,500. Not on my watch. And anybody with any kind of notion and brain would never support that. Only radical leftists support that kind of narrative. Wake up, people. Wake up. That's my video. Thanks. Share, share, share.